Okay, so this is a facilitated panel discussion of community leaders on how to make Rochester more compelling to residents, businesses, tourists, and convention organizers. And our intent here really is just to kind of mix it up a little. We've got some people that have been dealing with this on a regular day-to-day basis. We've got some people that are kibitzers from the sidelines, and we've got some people that might just have some bright ideas that could push us forward. I've already introduced the panelists. What's that? I can't backspace on this. Okay, so the most important thing in positioning a brand is knowing who you're targeting. And as most of you know, with municipalities, that's very difficult. There are many, many audiences, as we'll be talking about. And you've got to stand for something that's unique, relevant, compelling, understandable, believable, and supported by proof points. That is, you can't just say it, you have to live it. It has to be true. And so that's the last point. You really have to deliver on your promise. So municipality audiences tend to be residents, both current and prospective residents, businesses, both current and prospective businesses, tourists, conventions and meetings, people that plan events, sports events and tournaments, transient crowd. This is somebody that might be going from Buffalo to Syracuse, hope that they stop in Rochester on their way. Corporate commercial traffic, that is people that come and go to visit plants, to just in their normal day-to-day business, and visiting friends and relatives. So a community, and actually probably investors too. So communities really have a number of target audiences, which makes it more difficult to position, because you're not just talking to residents, or you're not just talking to tourists, and you're not just talking to businesses, you're talking to all of them. So municipality branding essentials, I've just taken this from some work I've done and some things that generally are thought to be true. And that is, generally a municipality is in better shape if it's safe, clean, and attractive, if it's got some culture, activity, and nightlife, that is, if there's something going on that's worthy of the title city or municipality, that they're doing some smart development and clustering to build momentum. That is, instead of like focusing, not focusing, just like letting development happen as it is to really focus it. It's very important in municipality branding to focus on strengths and leverage assets. Forget about the weak points. You hear people talking about our weak points, so what? Forget about it. What are our strong points, and let's build on those. Job opportunities are important, reasonable taxes are important, and knowing what you stand for is important. So, based upon some of these thoughts, we put together a survey just as fodder for this discussion. And I'm only going to take the next 5 minutes to go through the results of the survey, and then we're going to open it to a panel discussion. This was fielded 5/11 to 5/22. 232 people responded. It was basically half men and women. I think the next few statistics are interesting. A little over half were born and raised in Rochester, but about 75% have lived here 15 years or more. And what's really interesting to me is a little less than a third grew up here, moved away, but came back, which I don't know how often that's asked, but that's a very interesting statistic to me. So we asked people, and some of you who took the survey, here's the results. What are Rochester's greatest assets? And you have to look at the bottom of the chart to see what people most often said were Rochester's greatest assets. The Finger Lakes, proximity to those, and colleges and universities. It's interesting. I actually tabulated these when 169 came in, and then when 200 came in, and then at 232. And the variation was not very much at all. It was tenths of a percent when the numbers went up. So these, I think, are pretty stable numbers. So people are saying, gee, we think Rochester's greatest assets are all the colleges and universities and the proximity to the Finger Lakes. And you can see the other ones: culture, music, arts, museums, affordable housing, lack of traffic, and Lake Ontario. So these are what at least the cross-section of people that we went to thought Rochester's greatest assets were. We then asked the question, what is Rochester not leveraging that it should leverage more, or not leveraging enough? And interestingly, when you look on this list, there's two things that show up. Bodies of water, of which we have an abundance, and people. And I think people is a reflection of the fact that while people love Rochester, you'll see this, that actually generally people love Rochester. Their one complaint is that they either feel that there's not enough employment or they're underemployed. And so they say, wow, there's some really smart people here. We wish we could leverage them all the way. So those are the not leveraged assets. Okay, I know there's a couple of you here from Wegmans. You know the myth? I sit on Eliza's marketing committee, and I know I sit on the marketing committees of a couple other cultural institutions, and they're always consternated by the fact that people say, well, when my friends and relatives come into town, the first thing I do is I take them to the Pittsford Wegmans. No, we've got an international museum. We've got a national museum. What does this say about our town that we take them to a grocery store? And I have to say, what it says about our town is we've got an incredible grocery store, right? So these are the things, and there was a long list, but these are the things that people bring their friends and relatives to in order. The one that was interesting to me was Park Avenue. That's kind of where it's happening, In fact, I was just out there last night having dinner. Everybody was out there having dinner last night. Nice warm day. By the way, the weather's horrible here in Rochester, isn't it? It is so hot. I can't believe it's such a hot place to live. Oh. Okay. Most important when choosing a place to live. This is very important. When you do branding, you ask people, what's the most important to you? What are the most important benefits? And then you compare that to what the brands are actually delivering. So this is very interesting. The top benefit is good job opportunities. Second one is low crime, good medical care, affordable housing, scenic beauty. So it's majoring in the basics, right? It's like, unless I have a job that can pay for my house and my disposable income and all the things I like to do, nothing else matters. But what's interesting is some of the two top ones too were scenic beauty and attractive neighborhoods, and this was out of a long list. So aesthetics count, which is very interesting. Here's the least important, interestingly. The